2 years ago, thanks to people like you, my life changed forever when I won Australian Idol. Since then, so many dreams have come true. As a child sponsor, one of the greatest dreams I had was to visit Africa. When I approached World Vision to see if I could help in any way, I was so humbled when they asked me to be an ambassador for them. They sent me to Uganda, which is in East Africa, and now my life has changed even more. Tonight I ask you to join me on an extraordinary journey, both confronting and life-affirming. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and you'll ask yourself, how can I make a difference? Well, give me 1 hour of your time, and together we'll try and find the answers.
Well, I'm finally here. I've just landed in Africa. It's been a very long journey from Adelaide, but I'm finally here. Look at that, that's hospitality. I'm a bit smelly too, so...
Driving to Kampala from the airport, I couldn't quite believe I was in Africa. I thought back to the night when I won Australian Idol and just how much my life had changed.
Is that a Porsche? Is that a very, very long Porsche? Oh my God, it's showing God! Guy Sebastian also, he scrubs up pretty damn well.
From Adelaide to Africa, and now a World Vision ambassador. Just awesome.
I wish it was during the day.
I was tired, I was excited, and I was also pretty nervous. I needn't have worried. In true African tradition, I was made welcome with a song.
Yeah, this is a song from the northern part of Uganda. It's in Luo.
So you're going to teach me this, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we polo bolubanga mulokole bedie. We polo bolubanga mulokole bedie.
I'm getting lost on the Milokala bit.
Okay.
So, Whipala Badlabanga. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Good. Mulokole bedie.
Mulakale bedie.
Good. You're doing well.
That's right. Whipala Badlabanga Mulakale bedie.
We polo bolubanga mulokole bedie.
We polo Badlabanga Mulakale bedie.
We polo bolubanga mulokole bedie.
Well, here I am. It's my first day in Africa, and at first glance, all I can say is, wow. I guess for me, a lot of the support that I received in Australia through Idol and through my musical career, it would just be a crime if I didn't do something, and if I didn't take up the responsibility as an artist to kind of give back a little bit. And for me, that's what being here is all about, to link in with World Vision and to really see firsthand the work that they're doing and what I'm believing in as an artist too. Which one's good? This one right here, right?
I knew of World Vision through child sponsorship, but I was keen to see the other work they did, especially when it came to food shortages in Africa. I'd heard a lot about the crisis, but I felt baffled. There seemed to be food in these markets. So how is it possible for people to be going hungry? My guide Simon Peter explained that despite the food I saw here, due to the long-running internal conflict raging in the north, the impact of the HIV AIDS epidemic and the ongoing African drought, millions of people simply couldn't access food or water. So Uganda, like many other African countries, was in serious crisis.
Are these kids, are they alone, or are they working for somebody, or?
They are street kids.
Sorry?
Street kids.
Seeing kids as young as 5 begging for food and money seems surreal. I mean, imagine seeing this on the streets of any city in Australia. Heading toward a slum in the middle of Kampala, I realised this truly was a world away from home. I've never been to a slum before, but seeing and smelling the open sewers full of human waste and dirty water, it came as little surprise to learn that because of disease, many of these children wouldn't make it past their 5th birthday. I thought of my brothers, my mum, my dad, and just how lucky I was.
So we are in a workshop where they make saucepans using aluminium materials.
So really, I guess they're using what is around them and what is available.
Local materials and local technology.
This is Emmanuel. Like so many other Ugandans, he used to be a peasant farmer but was forced to leave the north of the country because of the conflict there. Abandoning his home, he fled to the capital, Kampala, seeking safety for his wife and 2 small children. The slum is now their home. Emmanuel's struggling to feed his family by making pots.
The main objective of coming here was just to come and look for help, money, even food, school fees. I'm trying, but then things are not coming proper. That's why it's very difficult. It's very difficult.
This makeshift shack is where Emmanuel and his family live. How ironic that this was deemed a better life. It blew me away. Like so many others in the slum, here was a man who worked so hard yet had so little. And he still could manage a smile. It was humbling to see the strength, the dignity and the pride of the people here. Day 1 of my African journey was nearly over. Tomorrow we would leave Kampala and head to the countryside to see some World Vision projects. I wondered about the journey ahead, but nothing could prepare me for what was to come.
Well, here we are on the open road. We've just left the hustle and bustle of Kampala. I'm chowing down on my sugarcane like I used to do as a little tacker in Malaysia. We're heading to Masaka, which is about a 2-hour drive, and we're going to witness firsthand a lot of the work that World Vision are doing there. For me, it's also an opportunity to see more music and continue this musical journey and find where soul music has come from. Santos, I love your country. It's beautiful.
This is the Pearl of Africa, Uganda.
The Pearl of Africa?
Yes.
What does that mean?
You know, our land is so blessed. You can even see by yourself. So green throughout,
lush,
almost all the year. And we have a lot of produce from agriculture.
So why do people still get hungry?
Yeah, they get hungry because we have problems of war. And also what brought us down, also HIV AIDS. Has really brought us down so much. Even HIV AIDS have killed people in the parliament, the ministers, and all those wise guys in the university, lecturers have all died. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, but we are still poor now. We are still poor.
We'd arrived in Masaka, just a few kilometres from where the first case of HIV/AIDS was reported. Some say this is where it all began. I tried to prepare myself for what was to come. While Uganda has managed to reduce its infection rate from 38% down to 6%, the impact of the virus on Africa's children is horrific.
When parents get HIV/AIDS and they die, they end up leaving children living alone in their houses. We get what we call the child-headed household.
There are over 1.7 million children in Uganda whose parents have died of HIV/AIDS. That's more than the entire population of Adelaide. And I was about to meet 6 of them. Dennis and John are just 15 and 14 years old, not much younger than my little brothers. And yet they were the heads of their household, solely responsible for the welfare of their 4 younger siblings. I try to imagine my brothers and I coping without our folks, being totally alone.
Well, it's lovely to meet you all. Thank you for having me in your house. And so we've got Dennis and John, who are helping to look after the whole family.
As John began his story, I could feel the heartache in the room.
Tata n'alwala nagende bamutwala mu ddwaliro yamalayo ebbanga ttono n'afa ne tubeerawo naye n'alwala naye n'afa ne tusigala bufirika twasanga obuzibu ng'emmere school fees and medical care.
Before World Vision found them, this broken family was desperate. Living alone in a run-down, leaky mud hut with a hole in the ground for a toilet. To care for himself and his younger siblings, Dennis, at just 14, had to give up school. World Vision helped them build a new house and gave them lessons in cultivation so they could grow their own food. They also provided this goat.
So, John, what is your goat's name?
It is called Morgan.
Morgan? Yes. What does Morgan mean?
I don't know.
You don't know? Morgan.
Morgan the goat is the children's pride and joy, providing milk to drink and future babies that they can sell. You see, it's all about empowerment, helping people to help themselves. As we left this extraordinary family, I took comfort in the knowledge that regardless of their youth and their tragic circumstances, this at least was one child-headed household that now had some hope.
What about Dennis?
We follow the banga molokole bedie. We follow the banga molokole bedie. Mara. Mara? Mara. 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 Molokole bedie. Gum kum molokole bedie. Our next stop, though, really brought home to me the terrible impact of HIV/AIDS on extended families.
She's a grandmother of these 3 orphans. She's called Teopista. Yeah, she lost her children to HIV/AIDS.
Yeah, and these are her grandchildren.
These are her grandchildren.
That were orphaned from
They're orphans, yeah. They lost both of their parents. She says they sleep here, down here. And for her, she sleeps in this other bed.
So that's for the children?
This is for the children.
And there's no beds,
Sleep
nothing?
Right.
Just on the dirt?
The floor.
Do you fear for the health of the children?
Ntolina kyeweeraliikirira ku bulamu bw'abaana.
Embeera y'obutali bulungi, tebalya bulungi, n'okunywa tebanywa bulungi, tebibimala balya.
They do not have adequate food in the household. Because of that reason, she's very worried of the health of the children.
Seeing this struggling family was a heart-wrenching experience. I will never forget the empty desperation in the children's eyes, nor the quiet dignity of their grandmother. By selling these homemade mats, Teopista manages to buy little food for her grandchildren. Each mat takes a whole month to complete, and if she's lucky, she can sell it for about $2. I'd learned a little about HIV/AIDS growing up, but I had no idea of the true impact it had on people's lives. What an eye-opener today had been. A whole generation of orphan children who'd lost their parents to HIV/AIDS. I was suddenly really homesick, but knew that unlike the kids I'd met today, I would get to hug my family again. I wondered how it was possible to make a difference here. Tomorrow, they told me, would bring some answers.
Yes, guy? Let's go, we're late.
Day 3 in Uganda. After a pretty intense 2 days, we were back on the road. We were on our way to a community health centre for a nutrition demo, and talk turned to food.
I'm trying to find out whether you have grasshopper in Australia. Do you have them?
Do we have grasshoppers in Australia? Yeah,
Yes.
we got grasshoppers.
Okay.
Why is that?
Do you eat them?
Do we eat grasshoppers?
Yes.
No, we don't.
I mean, it's so nice, my brother.
It's nice you're trying to convince
Yeah, you're
us,
missing.
guys.
I'm telling you.
I think we're quite happy to miss grasshoppers.
Happy of missing good things.
If I try grasshopper, will you have some raw fish? It's called sushi.
But first of all, is it nice?
It's very nice, very
And
nice.
then how about the smell? You know, definitely fish smell. No, that is crazy kind of eating.
One thing that has struck me is just how they can find joy in every situation. And there's so much need. And yet these kids, you know, they're just kids. They laugh and they dance and they seem to just have so much vibrancy. It's really inspiring.
The project is called Masaka Food Security Project. It is a project supposed to be running for 3 years.
Gilbert told me that because of poverty, many people had died from preventable diseases, and that programs such as these were vital in educating families to make the most of what little they had. These trained community health workers were teaching people about better nutrition.
We also want to see that we benefit from the whole potato. We don't throw away the peel, pound the peel.
Ah, so you get the flour.
Yes. It can be used for porridge for children.
Watching the team in action at the health centre was truly inspiring. The kids in this area were healthy and happy, but for so many other children, the future was not so hopeful. Back on the road, I couldn't get yesterday out of my mind, and especially little Rebecca, the bravest 6-year-old girl I'd ever met. Rebecca's mum Maria is sick, struggling to feed and care for her 2 children. Rebecca's father, brother and sister, all dead from preventable disease. I couldn't imagine how it would feel to lose half of my family. Africa was full of contradictions, so beautiful, yet so cruel. Heading back to Masaka, Santos assured me that through World Vision, families like Rebecca's could be helped, and that our next stop would prove the benefits of a sustainable nutrition program.
Hello.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
My
Nice
name
to
is
meet you.
Gervas.
I'm Guy.
Yes.
What is your name, sir?
Gervas.
Jervas.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
This is my wife.
Hello. Nice to meet
The
you.
daughter. Yes.
Looking around Jerevas's farm, it was hard to believe that not long ago this farmer and his family were close to starving.
So here's the manure
The manure.
that you use from the cows.
From the cows you bring to banana, then we mix it with the soil like that.
Okay. Jerevas was provided with this bull and some training in agriculture. Finally, he could generate an income, and pretty soon his family's life had turned around. Proud to share his newfound knowledge, Jerevas set up his own volunteer farmer program supported by World Vision, teaching the skills he'd learnt to his neighbours.
We didn't have enough skills, and we didn't have a good vision. So after, when we get this training, we get the skills, that now we have enough food in our homes. This product is almost even too big for my family to consume in 1 week. This stem here, we sell it to other farmers.
You sell this little stem to farmers?
Sometimes we give the neighbors.
Oh, wow.
So that they can plant and also get...
So they can grow a tree like this with that little stem?
Yes.
And you've got a little farmers group. What's the name of that?
Nezco Kolima is the name of the group, and it means you start from a very small, starting can be from a very small thing.
Like one bull?
Like one bull, and then it can expand into a farm like this one.
That's incredible.
Yes.
I left Jerevas's family enjoying their fruit, knowing that not long ago they would have gone to bed hungry. I felt encouraged by what I'd seen and convinced that it was possible for other people's lives to also be changed for the better. But my upbeat mood didn't last long. Tomorrow we were leaving Masaka, heading north straight into the conflict area, to the land where innocent children are abducted, the land of the child soldier. "15,000 feet above Uganda, with the mighty Nile River winding its way right up to Egypt. I should have been excited, but I was terrified. We just crossed well and truly into rebel territory. From up here, so peaceful. Down there, terror and conflict. The soldiers, innocent children."
Okay, we've just passed the Karuma Falls. That was one of the blood spots. Lots of killings used to take place. Rebels would take advantage and just blow up buses and lorries.
I'd read a bit about the rebel group, the Lord's Resistance Army, or LRA as they're known. For 19 years they terrorised northern Uganda, abducting children from villages, turning them into child soldiers, torturing them, burning their homes, and forcing them to either kill their own parents or be killed themselves. Looking at the pictures of my own family, it was impossible to contemplate.
James, nice to meet you. I'm Guy.
I'm Michael.
Nice
Welcome,
to meet
Guy.
you, Michael. I'm Guy.
Okay, let me get going to the car and then move to the center.
Why you guys never told me you had the Bob Geldof on board?
We were on our way to the Children of War Centre, a safe place where those child soldiers who'd somehow managed to escape the terror of the LRA are rehabilitated. I had no idea what to expect, but it certainly wasn't this. I couldn't believe that these children had all been abducted and brutalised by the most feared army in the region. These traumatised kids were some of the child soldiers of Uganda.
When children go through abduction, a child is subjected to a lot of psychological and physical trauma. Forcing a child to kill, forcing a child to burn homes, forcing the little girls to be abused. Any little mistake you do with the rebels, you are beaten. If you make a small mistake, you are killed. Or you participate in killing people who make mistakes. So the life of the child is destroyed from the normal life to another life.
I can't describe how I felt as the horrific story unfolded. Once abducted, the kids are marched for weeks through the bush to the rebel training camps. Many die of thirst or starvation along the way. Those who become too weak to travel are tortured and killed. The rebel commanders forcing the children themselves to commit these heinous acts. The kids kids we were seeing at the centre were the lucky ones, the ones who'd escaped, the ones who'd survived.
This is our counseling center. Now you see this staff who are working here. These are the counselors, like they're working. Every child has information. They're documenting the child. Now, part of the therapy we do is drawing pictures to help the children explain what they have gone through. Now, if you see this picture, this is LRA soldier.
Yeah.
They're shooting down trucks on the road. When a child has just come from captivity, you give that child a paper and pencil to draw. A child will draw the scene of his abduction, a scene where somebody is being killed, a scene where there was a big fight, a scene where they are burning homes. That shows that the child's mind is still suffering. Where? In the bush. Now, after that child has stayed for 2-3 weeks in the center, you give the same child paper and pencil. And if the child is recovering well, he will begin to draw pictures of the environment, pictures of the gate. Many children have drawn the picture of the gate because that's where they have entered through. That means they are recovering from the pain in the bush to the present.
I had no adequate words, but didn't need them. The children's artwork said it all. An estimated 36,000 kids have been abducted by the rebels so far. Incredibly, over 11,000 of those children have now been repatriated through World Vision. And what they're doing is clearly working.
May you tell us a riddle?
A riddle?
A riddle? Yes. Do you have any riddle?
Why did the chicken cross the road?
What? Pingo, bueno, moro yo. Pingo. For the fear of being grabbed?
For the fear of being grabbed? No.
The answer was all too telling. Abduction is part of everyday life, and yet they could still share my lame joke.
To get to the other side.
The first thing we do is to show that child that we love the child. We love. We help the child to understand and appreciate that he has been forced by another passion. He has done things which he would not do under normal circumstances.
Only a mere word, a smile to the child, a small joke, maybe a small bite that you've given to the child, that helps so much.
In the bush, any mistake you make, you are beaten. If they think you want to escape, you are tortured or killed. 2 of my friends were chosen by the rebels to be sentenced to death, and I was forced to kill them.
Part of me wanted to run away as far as I could. But this was real. This story needed to be told.
These are children born in captivity. The mothers were abducted when they were very young, and the mothers been abused by rebels. So these are the children that have been born. Many of them were born while the mothers were still in the bush.
Wow.
But they now live in the center. We have to teach them, give them a kindergarten lesson, and they live with the mothers, and finally they'll go home.
Our first day in Gulu, my emotions were running wild, and it wasn't over yet. All these kids had escaped from the LRA. They were safe here in the centre. But what about the kids in the surrounding villages? When night falls, the abductions continue, and hundreds of kids have to seek a safe haven. They are known as the night commuters, and tonight, I was about to become one of them. It was dusk in Gulu, and we were on our way to a village about 5 kilometres outside town. For the kids here, sunset brings real danger, because under the cloak of darkness, the rebels can attack. Night after night, terrified parents do the unimaginable. They send their children away to town to prevent them from being abducted. Children as young as 5 walk for kilometres, often on empty stomachs, and in constant fear that they may never see their families again. These children are the night commuters.
This is one of the children. As he explained, she goes to sleep every night.
When it gets dark.
When it's getting dark now, children are preparing to go away to sleep in town because they fear when the rebels come, they abduct them, they take them to the bush. And the rebels train the little boys to be soldiers, and little girls like this are given away to the commanders as sex slaves.
For me, it's really hard to understand how this can happen, you know, how they can be sex slaves, how they can be kidnapped, how they can be abducted.
It's a big issue that we continually appeal to the international community to support the country so that children get maximum protection. So that children who are vulnerable like this are also supported so that they live.
As if things aren't tough enough, Rachel and her siblings are a child-headed household. The rebels killed their father not long after their mother had died. They moved here to be near their auntie.
Every evening when the children leave home, I am fearful. Will they reach town? While I am here, the children could easily be abducted. They might be dead. How would I know? It's painful. All I can do is pray for them. Only when I see them come back in the morning will I know they are safe.
Setting off, I was feeling edgy. Michael had warned me to hurry. Already this week, 4 civilians had been killed in a rebel ambush, and only a couple of days ago there was a shootout in this area. I could barely see a thing as we walked through the thick, dark bush. I kept thinking that at any moment we could run into rebels. With our hearts beating as loud as the thunder, I thought a song might take our minds off the fear. It's amazing how quickly we bonded. Walking to Gulu with the night commuters is a time I'll never forget.
Did you hear them spinning in the house of the Lord? Did you hear them in the house of the Lord?
I couldn't believe how far these children walked. Every single night, alone and fearful. No hot meal waits for them when they arrive. No warm bath, no comfortable bed. Just the knowledge that they have survived one more night. And then suddenly out of the darkness, safety, the gate of the community shelter. My heart soared as our few voices were echoed by hundreds. When I was young, I had my parents, food, security, and a roof over my head. These kids want the same thing. But in Gulu, a safe night means bed on a hard concrete floor in a communal tent.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true.
My last day in Uganda. We were on our way to a nearby Internally Displaced Persons, or IDP camp as it's known. Imagine the whole of Adelaide forced to pack up and move to a camp like this. But that's exactly what's happened here. As a result of the rebel conflict, over 1.7 million people have fled their villages and fields in fear. Many of these children would also be former child soldiers rescued from the LRA. The community now lives crowded together in these huge camps, forced to put their lives and livelihoods on hold.
Yeah, as you can see, the house is virtually empty. So at night, you spread out the mat and then somebody lie on that. Yeah. If you look at this house, there's literally nothing to show that there's a human life here. Yeah.
How tough must it be to live like this? Over 20,000 people share just 6 water wells, and there is only one emergency clinic.
In our culture, this is representing the food store. It's called a granary store. Now, when you look...
this is where the food is?
Yeah, this is where the food is supposed to be. And as you can see, there's nothing here. This is the sign of hunger, sign of starvation. There's nothing to eat.
The terrible thing about conflict is that it always brings hunger. These villagers cannot tend their fields for fear of rebel attacks, so they can't grow enough food for their families. Some of these mothers have already lost babies to malnutrition. To counteract the empty granaries, World Vision has introduced a food program in this displaced community.
Because of the war, the mothers cannot get food for their children. Yeah. They cannot get access or gain access to go to their field and plow. Now we are coming to show them how to use this foreign food which has been brought to them because they don't know how to handle it.
So because the food's so nutritious, the kids are getting so much more out of the meal and eating healthier.
That's definitely true. So it's a wholesome package for a child.
These women carry this on their head and carry one in their arm and have a baby on their back. I can't even lift it with my hands. It's full of water.
After the trauma we'd seen in Gulu, it was heartwarming to finally see such happy little faces and to know that at least this little group of malnourished babies was on the mend. But our time at the food program came to an abrupt end. Word had reached us that after 5 years in captivity, another child soldier had managed to escape the LRA. He was on his way to the Children of War Centre, and so were we. There he was. Little more than a teenager, but because of the rebels, he had lost both his family and his youth. In borrowed clothes and with few other possessions, he was exhausted and clearly bewildered.
He walked for 3 days. Wow. From the national park where there are no people. He could have been eaten by wild animals, but he had to walk the long distance 3 days before he could report himself to the people.
would help him. I don't know if he knows what to do.
After the brutality of abduction, the warm spirit of celebration and acceptance from everyone here at the centre had to be overwhelming.
As you can see, he's still not very sure of what is happening here. He has recognized one or two guys he has met with in the bush. The small bag you see here is all the possessions he has. He doesn't have any other thing apart from that. So we want to welcome him back, part of the children's family, and we receive him with happiness.
To symbolise the beginning of a new life, and with the consent of the returnee, any possessions from the bush are burnt in this intimate ceremony. It's impossible to imagine the horrors this young child soldier must have witnessed during his abduction, or the terrible atrocities he was forced to commit.
So if we have come away from killing people, from looting things, we need to burn and destroy things that remind us of that past. I've suffered abduction, I've suffered walking in the bush, I've suffered beating. I'll never go back to that kind of life again.
The work that World Vision are doing here is just incredible. Seeing it firsthand, seeing Michael and what the team are doing is just, it's mind-blowing how dedicated these people are. A kid can be brought in the middle of the night and they wake up from they leave their families and they go to the centre to make sure these children are okay. To me, really, they're heroes.
My last few hours here, but Africa was not about to let me leave without some music and dance.
Seeing the power of music, it's incredible to see the origin of what I do and what so many other people do. I've heard in the grassroots of where it came from, you know, for me it's just so inspiring.
Let's join hands. We want peace. So let's sit down. Let's put the gun down. We want peace. We want youth.
Saying farewell to the children of Uganda, I knew I would never forget my time here. This magnificent land would stay with me forever. I was sad to be leaving, but happy and proud to return home to tell this story.
Now, guys, Sebastian, maybe you can sing just a small verse of that song. We call it.
Oh, okay.
And then it was time for me to offer something back.
My friend here taught me a little bit of a song. An African song.
Are you
ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
We polo but the banga malakale. 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 We polo but the banga jamungo. We polo but the banga jamungo. Tie mara mara malakale. Banga. Tie mara mara malakale.
Thank you for sharing in what was the most incredible journey of my life. We all know the important work that World Vision does through child sponsorship, but as you can see now, there are many other programs that need our support. In the words of Nelson Mandela, sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. We can be that generation. For more information on how you can make a difference, visit the website at wellvision.com.au.